Okay. I'm in a movie star's house. He's me. He is me. The movie star I told you about is me. And I cleaned up this room because I've starred or played the lead role, whatever you prefer to call it, in three musical feature films. Three feature films that I wrote and directed and produced and starred, played the lead actor in. So I'm a movie star. And two of them sold 30,000 copies, I think. And the other one has not yet been released. Well, it had an obscure release, and the release time ran out, and I'm going to try to get it to go number one, the biggest number one movie on earth at the time of its release. Not to have ever been made. It's a really good movie, The Vampires of Zanzibar. So I cleaned up this room after the bunnies are not here. I had to clean up these couches, the backs of those things, because they went to the bathroom. And I cleaned all these. I swept up all the bunny stuff. I put it into that bag, into that trash bag. And I cleaned up the entire room. Maybe I can put some water on here and clean that a little bit more. And I can put these pillowcases back and it'll look really good. A movie star's house. Do I want to be a way more famous movie star? Want to be. Yes, I'd like to be way more famous because I'm good at my work. Why am I making random videos? Or, they're way more than random videos. They're well thought out. How am I going to promote them and give them a good title and try to get a bunch of views from them with good content? And also so much content. I filmed so many films and videos that I have 20,000 TV shows worth of videos that I own, that I'm the lead actor in. That's more than any human being on earth. That's more than any human being who's ever lived that I own and am the lead actor in. So the bunnies are going to Danica's house. Look, the bunnies, I can still smell them. They're hay. And I got a pet shipper guy, and they're arriving in Texas. The bunnies. No. And here's, I've been talking to Danica. I love Danica. Don't ever be mean to her. She's a kind, good human being. She worked really hard at YouTube and raising the kids, all three kids. I worked really hard at films and videos. It wasn't someone else's work. The reason why I have so many films and videos is because I got an iPhone and it's easy to film more and upload faster. And you can film, edit, and upload. Some of my videos are not edited. Some of them are well edited. I have maybe 1,200 videos that are really well edited, or 800. And some of them are not edited, and I'm really good at filming without having to edit and keeping it entertaining because I've been at films and videos since the 80s. I think the first videos I made in costume were with a home video camera in 1987. So I may go to Los Angeles because I worked on this house for full-time hours. If it's barely considered full-time, I worked in this house, well, at least since I've lived here in 2016, it's 2015, and more full-time hours than that, like as if I had been here longer than that. So it wasn't easy, and my videos aren't doing that well like I'd like them to be. And Danica and the kids are in Texas, and I don't know, it hasn't been easy. Don't try to be like me. Don't be like a false idol. Don't, I'm not a false idol, but don't try to look up to me. Look up to God and Jesus. I had to suffer way more than almost anybody I know. I think it was because I was allergic to caffeine. I don't know. I've been feeling really okay for a few days. Hi. So don't look up to anyone as a false idol. Don't say you'd like to be like them, unless they're God and Jesus. You're supposed to be like them. I don't even know. I was talking about to have not inherently said, don't look up to anybody on earth, because you're supposed to look up to your mother and father, and you're the same as your husband or wife if you get married. But if you're not married, then don't worry about that. And so, I got to keep making more money, or, well, maybe I don't. Maybe that means that I don't mow money. Maybe I can just, it doesn't feel that great only making videos from here. I'd like to be on real movie sets again. Like, the studio movies are big budget independent movies. Bigger budget independent movies, not big budget. That would be like $100 million, but comparatively big budget indie films imply no budget to a few $1,000,000 or something like that, usually. But they could be up to 100 million, but I don't know. So I'm probably gonna leave. And I like the way they're made. I like writing really good screenplays. I like the stories they tell that are fiction and a fantasy of getting to work really hard to entertain others at a kind of like a fantasy world that doesn't exist on Earth, because it's like not really that good. And it's fun to me. It's something fun to do. Like everything really is okay. So I like the movie industry, and I like music, and that's the kind of work I liked. But I was put to work from 2005 until 2025, this year, almost 20 years, at homes. I had to renovate homes and I had to do a bunch of hard work. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And I'd like to work more on movies because I'm really good at movies. So I'm going to go. That was the water stuff for the rabbits. It doesn't look that great. But I'm going to go. So I got this entire house ready. I painted the floors. I painted those walls. I did more work that I'm not supposed to talk about. And I worked in this house full-time hours, like longer than I've lived here. So I think I'm going to go, unless I go downstairs and play drums. I don't know what I would do in this video. I don't really want to. I'm thinking about, well, I could play drums. Let's play drums. I'll play drums, maybe. Let me see if I can play some like really good drums. Put it in this tripod. Hey, it's quiet and peaceful. Hey, it's pretty good here. Where did stuff fall in here? Got a little dusty, the drums. Is it too quiet to play? Okay, I'll play. That's all.
I'm completely mental, I'm afraid. Oh, give me a break! I'm as doomed can be, you know. This is like my life is the lucky day.
See if we can communicate with the actor who played this character, Ed Grimley, on Saturday Night Live, Martin Short. See if he's a nice guy or not. Let's try to listen to him and see what he sounds like. Wherever he is, let's ask God for us to see how he is by playing this doll's voice and seeing if that's how he really is in real life.
See, that's a pain that's gonna linger.
Sounds nice.
See, that's a pain that's gonna linger.
No, it just sounded like a cheap recording. Like somebody thinks, oh, it's only a machine. You can't do that. Well, when you have God, you can do anything with God. That's in the Bible. So read a Bible and have faith, and you can do anything. Let's see how Martin Short is. Now it's the person who thought that it was only a machine. They said they were as doom can be, you know, because that they couldn't help it, and that's how they are. And they were determined, and it still sounded like a little recording of a thing that's in this doll's body that was like not really Martin Short, but then they were the ones saying that they were as doom can be because they don't know any other way to be, and that's how God made them. So for some reason, God made everything that way. But let's try it again. We might have to think about whoever that was out there, whoever's soul was out there who was determined that it was a little thing inside this doll's body, and they didn't want to communicate with Martin Short wherever he is with all their soul, with the Holy Spirit within your soul and the Holy Spirit within Martin Short's soul. We can tell how he kind of is and see if we get along with him as a friend like I was doing before, and it was fun. Okay.
This is like it's so to my face.
It's that same person, someone out there whose soul doesn't believe that it's possible. And they said that this thing that I'm doing is like a joke, I must say. That's what they're determined in their way, but you can't be against it. It's how their personality is, it's how their soul is. So God had this happen when I played the doll, but before I was able to really communicate with Martin Short. Well, not communicate with him, but I could hear how he really was. So I was trying to do, but instead God let me communicate with somebody else's soul who didn't believe it was possible for this doll to allow me to see how Martin Short really is, like God did before. Let's pull the voice thing. Let's see what happens this time.
I'm as doom can be, you know.
Somebody, I don't know what that was. If it was somebody being as doom can be and they're about to die.
This is like it's so to my face.
Now it just sounds like a creepy, haunted doll that's not real, with like somebody's dead soul going into it. That's not a good thing to do. That's like using a Ouija board or something. That's wrong and bad. Come on, don't ever do that. Only with God and Jesus. Maybe that's why that other person was so kind and good. They're against Ouija boards because they knew it was wrong because God made them that way. Okay.
I'm as doom can be, you know.
Now it sounded like they're trying to, like I kept trying to do it, like they thought they were determined. If you try to communicate with others using a doll, they thought it would be like a possessed doll.
I'm as doom can be, you know.
That was a person who didn't believe it was possible, and they said they are as doomed can be, you know. But I don't know what person it is who thinks that way. And somehow it communicated
with them instead of Ed Grimley, instead of Martin Short, the actor who played Ed Grimley. I got to hear what he sounded like before. It was really good. How he likes to party, and he goes to parties, and he acts like really crazy. And even if he sounds like the devil or something, he says, "Oh, who cares? It's not real." And it's just how his personality is. But then he feels bad, like sad, like he might have to die. He's getting older, and it's how different people's personalities are. You can't judge them. You can't judge them. Don't judge anyone for being different from you. Judge not, lest ye be judged.
See, that's a game that's gonna linger. I'm as doomed as doomed can be,
His feet. Color kid's hurting his legs. Praise Jesus.